Okay, so today we're gonna make chicken and dumplings. So I'm gonna show you here, we have so here's 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. To that you're gonna add 3 cups of chicken broth. You can buy chicken broth, you can just strain it after you cook your chicken. Or you can buy the chicken base at the store and mix it with hot water. You're gonna put this over a medium-high heat, whisk it a little bit. You're gonna season with a little salt and pepper, and then you're gonna let it come to a boil. For the rest of this recipe that we're gonna add after it comes to a boil and simmers for a minute, you're gonna need about 2 ounces of evaporated milk. You can use regular milk, but evaporated milk just gives it a little bit different taste. You're gonna add about a teaspoon of cornstarch to that and whisk that up so it's nice and smooth. You'll add that at the end to make it thicker. And you're gonna have 2-3 cups shredded chicken. I have about 4 here, no big deal. We'll just add a little bit more liquid here in a minute, a little bit more milk. So for the dumplings, if you wanna make them homemade, you just take a cup of all-purpose flour and about a teaspoon of salt. You mix that up. We're just using a fork. You can use your hands if you want to, as long as you washed them first. All right, now we're just gonna add a little bit of ice water. Just drizzle that in. Try to do this one-handed. So you mix that together until it comes to form a ball, kind of like pie dough. Don't forget to keep whisking your ingredients on the stove. You don't want those to scorch. But this is how your dough should look. It just comes to a ball like this. As you can see, I use my fingers there at the end. So you're gonna take a little bit of flour, put it on a surface, and we're gonna roll this out flat. And you want this pretty thin. Okay, so we're gonna cut our dumplings into slices. And I use one of these. I don't know, it's supposed to be some sort of scooper for when you chop up veggies or something. But I use it for slicing dough as well because it's very handy. So you see our liquid has started boiling. Now we're going to dump our chicken in and let it heat up. And so this chicken I had cooked earlier in the week and shredded it to use in, I don't know, whatever recipe. You can do that. You can buy chicken, a rotisserie chicken, and cut it up if you like. But if you cook the chicken, then you can always strain your broth and have that for when you're making chicken and dumplings. And since I added extra chicken, I'm gonna go ahead and add about a cup and a half of milk. Mix that in. Okay, so after a couple, 3 minutes, you see it's starting to boil in different little places, it's starting to bubble. So that means your liquid's coming back up to temperature. And your chicken is gonna keep just warming up as your dumplings cook. So we're gonna add in just a few dumplings at a time. And you don't just dump them all in at once or dump them all in one area because they'll stick together if you do that. So you'll let those cook for a couple minutes and then add some more dumplings. Stir them around, make sure that they don't just stick to each other. You don't want one big dumpling in the bottom of the pan. So now we're gonna let this simmer for about 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes on a low heat. And then we will add our final step, which was our evaporated milk and cornstarch. And that is going to thicken it up just a little bit more. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 15 minutes. You see it's getting really thick. Our dumplings are getting well cooked. And so now we are just going to add our evaporated milk and cornstarch mixture. We're gonna mix that up. And then if you see that it is just a little bit too thick, you're liking, you can always add more milk. If it's too thin, just take a little milk, a little more cornstarch, and add that in. So you can just let this simmer now. Don't let it boil because things will stick to the bottom of the pan and we don't want a scorched taste, but you can turn it on low and just let it simmer and then eat it whenever you're ready. It just gets better as it sits. So this is a great recipe for children or for adults who eat like children, like myself. I don't like chunky things like onions and celery and most of my food. And so this is a great recipe because it doesn't have any of that. There's lots of chicken and dumpling recipes that have those things in it, You can add that if you like. You can add chopped up carrots. You can add all different kinds of vegetables if you like. But this is just a great, simple recipe. Lots of ingredients you might already have on hand. So I urge you to try it. It's delicious. Hope you enjoy. How is it, Car?
It's good. It's hot though. Can't eat it. It's good though.
Did you burn your tongue?